Okay, hey everybody. It is May. How you doing? How's everybody doing today? It's Colette Baron-Reid and I am doing your monthly, very interesting astro oracle reading with Mass.
Yes. We should let people get on. Like we're still waiting. We only have one person on right now.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to wait to talk.
Yeah, just tell them hello.
Well, happy day, whoever's here. I know this is live, and I'm pretty excited. This is a really interesting thing that I started playing with a few years ago to see if oracle cards would actually reflect astrology. And me and my friend Deborah Silverman are actually shooting our course for Hay House Stars and Cards in June. So we're super excited about bringing this to the public in a bigger way, where you can see the interplay between the fixed system of astrology and the fluid system of oracle cards. So tried and true, this works. So I'm going to be doing a kind of a really interesting energy report for each of the 12 signs, but you're not going to just get one card. That's too general. You're going to get something specifically geared to you, which means we're going to be looking at your sun sign, your rising sign or your ascendant, and your moon in that order. It's going to go like an arc. So say, for example, though, you're a triple Scorpio, you would only read the one card for Scorpio, but you could also look up your chart and see, oh, where is my sun? Which house is my sun in? So, for example, it might be in the house of Aquarius, even though it's, so you have to look it up and you can play with this a little bit too to get a second card, but most of the time you don't need it. If you are someone like my husband who is an Aries and a Sagittarius rising and a Virgo moon, he would read the card for Aries, the message for Sag, and then the message for Virgo, and he would get a story arc, right? So this is about the stories that the universe presents us so that we kind of operate and we grow and we experience our lives underneath this particular umbrella. And then what are our tendencies too, right? So like what would the tendency be? What are most Aries dealing with right now? But it's different if you're an Aries with a Sag rising, because those two cards come together and they give you a much more specific thing that you'll be looking at as an umbrella for this month. So without further ado, Mark, am I allowed?
Yes, you are. But I'd answer this question.
Sure.
We have Pia Elizabeth Stido.
Okay.
How do I find the rising sign?
Okay, so you're going to want to go to astro.com. So astro.com is so easy. You just go in there, you put your name, and you put your birth data and where you were born and the time you were born, and it spits it out. It's like a computer program and it's free. So you can just go on there and it'll tell you everything, including, what house the signs are in, et cetera, and what planets are where, and whatever. It's quite complicated, but it can also be quite simple. So simply what you want to know is what's my sun sign, what's my ascendant, and what's my moon. And that will absolutely give you that easy peasy pudding and pie. So just go there, get that info, and then you can actually get the story. It's much more accurate when you know your ascendant. And so far so good, according to all of you who write us letters and who comment on these videos. Okay, so let's get going.
Hold on, one more question.
Let's not get going.
I think this is a good one, Colette.
Okay, Mark.
What if I don't know my birth time?
Then you kind of go, I had to get my chart. It's called a rectification chart. So, and I had mine done to actually discover what my accurate birth time was. So you can find an astrologer that can actually do that for you. But you can also just use noon. So it won't give you necessarily the most accurate. Like I would go noon and then try out 3. Then you'll sort of feel like, oh, that sounds like me or that doesn't sound like me. Like for example, we thought my birth time was a specific time that gave me a Virgo rising. And every time an astrologer would read me, I'd be like, my Virgo is broken. I don't know who you're talking about, but this isn't me. And then when I found out it was actually Libra rising, it made complete sense. And it was like I was born again. It was amazing. So you can kind of test it out by how you feel about, does that sound like me? Is that truly me? Or does this sound more like me? And then actually get an astrologer. It was a life-changing moment for me. Any other questions, Mark?
Yeah, just what was the name of the site again? And then we'll get right into this.
Astro.com. Now, while we're waiting, I want to remind everybody today, season 3 of Inside the Wooniverse has launched. So go check out ITWpodcast.com.
Okay, and that stands for Into the Wooniverse. So ITW.
No. Isn't it called Inside the Wooniverse?
Inside.
My podcast?
Oh.
Wait, don't scare me. Did we change the name?
No, yeah. Inside the Wooniverse.
And we have amazing guests like Lee Harris. We've got Yasmin Bolin, if you're interested in moonology. That was an amazing conversation. And we've got a phenomenal animal communicator that has talked to my dogs and completely freaked me out, named Michael R. Burke. He's coming on to talk about animal communication. So we've got some really cool guests this year, and people whose names you know, some you don't, but interesting topics.
And what's the website again?
ITWpodcast.com.
All right.
There we go. All right.
Let's go, Colette.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Aries, obviously, because we are going to go in order. So the theme, and this is, again, a theme you're going to be working with as part of your personal evolution this month, is to trust the universe. For the wind that blows our sails. Oh, I already have this. You have the upright thing there, Mark? Yes? Okay. So for the wind that blows our sails, that is a card. I'm going to read it, actually. So I think the best thing for me to do, and I am using my Dreamweaver's Oracle deck, which I'm so proud of. It's so exciting. Okay, so this I really want you, Aries rising or Aries moon, to pay attention to this. Because the essential meanings is about forward movement and coming out of a slow period. And it is a time for action, and also trusting that these things will come to pass that you've been working on, right? But might have gotten kind of bogged down. And so this is the month. This is a time for action. Your obstacles have dissolved. You've integrated the deep work you've been doing, and you are on the other side of the dry spell. How wonderful to know that you have the energy to take the next steps forward unencumbered by the past. Pay attention to that. If you are encumbered by the past, you have to let that go. This is a time of new beginnings, of trusting the universe, of the excitement that comes with seeing your dreams coming to fruition after challenging work. Others may call you lucky, but you know what work it took to get here. The time of expansion is not one to take lightly or for granted. Smooth sailing is not always offered to you. Now the wind that blows your sails is steady, and you feel the hand of the divine next to yours on the wheel. Stay in touch with that partnership. Stay awake and aware. As waves can rise up out of nowhere, and have confidence that you're sailing into the perfect direction for you, toward the destiny that will flourish. Just go the distance. So it's an interesting thing that's an action card, even though we're in Mercury retrograde at the beginning of May, but we move out of that mid-May, right? So I think that's kind of like, as opposed to the impulsivity and that kind of energy overamping in April, like for Aries, because it's the Aries time. Now we're in Taurus, a little slower, and we're the retrograde, even slower. So it's great to say, oh, you know what? I can actually step back and look at all the stuff that's now starting to happen and get ready for it to go. So that's really good. Now we will address Taurus. So again, month of May, beginning where we are now at the time of this reading, is in Mercury retrograde in Taurus. We are slowed down. We're seeing things that are, tangible things that are being challenged right now. We're really meant to be regrouping right now. So let's see what Taurus, card for Taurus is for this month. Yes, okay. Weavers know that all is God. This is the coolest card too. And this is the last card in the deck. And when Joel and I were talking, my artist in Santa Fe, New Mexico, we were talking about how this would look and how we wanted it to feel, which was this mystical, weird, and wondrous being. and experience of seeing the cosmos come to life. And so this is for Taurus. The conscious universe is the source of supply. Spirit is fundamental to life. The mystical is the primary reality. Now, what happens right now in this Mercury retrograde, basically for all of us, we're being challenged around the concept of money. Like we're seeing financial institutions having a bit of a problem, to say the least. We're seeing all these things where tangibility is seemingly threatened, right? Seemingly, or at least temporarily threatened, because nothing ever lasts, right? So this is reminding the Taurus, who is dependent on seeing things that, methodically, we need to know what it is. It's comfortable. We want to see that. So the Taurus is saying, hey, don't look at the outer world to tell you you're okay. The Weavers know that all is God. Do you? This is a profound magical time in your life, and it's important that you recognize your relationship with your higher power as essential and primary. Consider all the gifts of your very existence. When you breathe, ask yourself, who is breathing you? What force moves through you, animates you and those you love? The universe is the spark of life within you and nature. In you is true magic. Connecting you to the web of all creation, each strand woven on your behalf is pure consciousness. Right now, you're being asked to remember this and feel what that means to you, Taurus. Are you exercising in the back there, Mark? My husband was going like this. Anyway, every single thing in your life, he's not paying attention, is sacred and infused with the power of Spirit, of God, the conscious universe. Even your difficulties are infused with the sacred and are always beckoning you to remember who you truly are. You are an immortal spiritual being, having a mortal human tangible experience. Can you see right now that whatever you're asking about has divinity sparking through it? Treat the subject of your life with reverence right now. Step into the sacred dance. You cannot go wrong. You're meant to have this experience right now. So if you are, Taurus, being challenged by this time at all, or if you're not, that's fine too, but this is really a call for the Taurian personality, or those who are influenced by Taurus energy in the ascendant or the moon, to really pay attention to your relationship to Spirit before, as the primary source, before you look at the tangible world as your, don't make it your higher power, in other words. Okay, so let's take a look at Gemini. Gemini, when the Weavers call your heart. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting that Mark has an overhead camera. Let's look at this one. All righty, number 34. I love these cards. I say that about all my decks, but this is like my latest baby, and I just love it. And we're getting so many great responses for it, too, so I'm super grateful. It's different. It's very, very different. The art is phenomenal, too. It's amazing. So love in all its forms, Gemini. A heart-opening experience, romantic love, the experience of showing kindness to others. So lots going on in the heart of the Gemini this month. Ah, yes, love, the quintessential energy of life, and the one glittering thread in the tapestry of your life that you cannot do without. This is the one energy that heals all wounds, that builds bridges, finds unity, and brings life into the world. When the dream weavers call your heart, you're being invited to bring the essence of love into your inquiry, to give it freely and wholly, and to receive it fully in the way that it's being offered. Perhaps you've begun a new relationship and are wondering where it's going. If there's anything here for you, can you allow for love to come through without judgment or even measurement? Can you experience it without trying to define it and pin it down? Let it not be transactional. Can you be the love you seek? The experience of kindness is a way to open the door to love. So Geminis, ask yourself, can you show kindness to others today for no reason at all, just because you can? To slow down and present that to people. And perhaps you can spend quality time with a beloved pet, or even send love to a plant. So a good question to ask yourself now, Geminis, this month is, even if you have a dilemma regarding others or even yourself and the choices you need to make, what would love do? The universe is calling love to you in all its glittering, life-enhancing ways. So keep your heart open, drop your defenses and expectations, and watch the miracles arise as if by magic. Cool, huh? Love it. So again, if that's Gemini Sun, Gemini Ascendant, and Gemini Moon. And now let's go to Cancer. Cancerians. That's me. Here we go. All right. Painting joy across the sky. It's fabulous. Okay, don't wait. Yes, this is really good for Cancerians. Again, this is. I particularly love retrograde periods. We always launch our products in retrogrades, but I love Mercury retrograde in order for me to go over things, to really take a look at the details, like where are the cracks in the foundation? What do I need more of? What am I spending too much time on that, for example, may not be good for me or other people? So the essential meaning, Cancer rising, Cancer moon, is joy in all forms, loving life, being grateful, sharing joy, and reverence for all of life. So, Cancer, life can be a sticky place some days where safety and trust may not come easily. So how do you trust a world that is changing so rapidly, where people seem more and more disconnected from each other? We would all agree about that. Disconnected from nature and from spirit. Oh, you work hard and hope for the best, but you can easily be disheartened and disappointed. Yes, life is a struggle, and boy, oh boy, can it ever be unfair, hard, corrupt, and hopeless. But it is simultaneously hopeful, brilliant, trustworthy, good, and beautiful. Nothing will ever be perfect, but neither will it ever be permanent. Can you bring your attention to the beauty of the cosmos, of nature and all her inhabitants, to see this beauty within each person and experience you encounter? Can you remember that joy is a perception, a perspective, and joy is an action? So breathe in and tune into the energy of gratitude. Choose to be a kind and compassionate citizen of the world, regardless of the challenges surrounding you. Give freely of your heart, then you will know how to paint joy across the sky. Joy doesn't need the outer world to behave. In fact, the greatest expression of joy can arise from your deepest sorrows. Remember that joy is an energy, and a contagious one at that. When you cultivate it and spread it freely, the outer world will reflect it back to you in a form that is so beautiful and meaningful. So choose joy today, Cancerians, and soon you'll note how much richer and fulfilled you are. In fact, more reasons to be joyful will spring up in your outer world the more you pay attention to joy. That was awesome. All right, Leo is next. Leo, a firebird is called to soar. I haven't got that card in a long time, card number 28. And that's for Leo. So the key word for Leo, that's again Leo's sun, rising sign, and moon, being fully yourself, knowing who you are and who you're becoming, authenticity, and shining on behalf of the divine, not your ego, right? So this is a beautiful card for the generous Leo personality. So Leo, do you know who you are, what you truly value, what matters to you, and how you genuinely feel about things? Can you be that person without worrying what others think? You are a unique and special being with your own path, your own journey to travel. You have incarnated with a purpose built into your very being. You do not have to look for it forever, and certainly not outside of yourself. It's inside you, and it's been there all along. So this is something to really celebrate. Just as a great symphony is made up of many instruments, each one integral to the whole, your special note is essential to the great song of life. You need to play your note and not somebody else's. So at this moment, being yourself, speaking up about what's important to you, and making choices from an authentic desire to participate is always what's best for everyone. You have come so far in your life. It's time to be proud of who you are and what you have to offer this world. Like a firebird is called to soar, so are you called to express the fullness of yourself and shine. Just remember your true heart. It's okay to be vulnerable. Take off the masks that you hide behind. Then and only then can you make the empowered choice to fly. Ready? The dream weavers think you are. That's awesome. Now let's go to Virgo. So far, so good. Oh, we've got the same one. Weavers know that all is God. So I am going to repeat this card. I'm going to repeat the card, but I'm going to riff on it because we've already used this card before for another sign, but there's a common thread. So for Virgos, because Virgo has a different tendency than the other sign necessarily that received this. So this is all about knowing that God is the conscious universe is the source of your supply. Oh, that was for Taurus, right? Spirit is fundamental to life, and the mystical is the primary reality. So I'm going to talk about the commonalities because you're both earth signs. So both Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are signs of the earth, tangibility. Only with Virgo, there's health, there's perfection, there's a different way of perceiving the world. And I know my husband has moon in Virgo. You can also fall prey to perfectionism when you're looking at the outer and thinking that's not good enough, or that's not, I need to make it better, I need to keep going. And this is saying, you know what, you have to trust your higher power. This is the time, this month of May, is for you to take your attention away from looking at what's not right and what's not working, and back to the partnership that you have with the fundamental source of all of life, which is spirit. So this is very, very important for the Virgo personality, rising or moon, to remember this as a primary focus, is that spirit is your partner this month. And you'll really start to see and notice that you'll have a completely different perception and perspective on things when you do that. It shifts the beautifully. It takes you out of the perfectionism, takes you out of, also though the Virgo's about being sacred, so you can restore the sacred when you take away the need to look for perfection in things that are impossible to know. Alrighty, let's do Libra. I'm gonna shuffle the cards like a poker player now. I always say never be afraid to bend your cards. Yeah. Alrighty, so Libra. Another one the same, for the wind that blows our sails, just like Aries. And it's interesting because Libra is the opposite to Aries, but you have a similar viewpoint now. So 26. There's movement now. Let's talk about, again, forward movement coming out of a slow period and a time for action. So, but of course, the Libra responds and looks through a lens of fairness and partnership, beauty, art. You're going to see this movement forward maybe in a very different way than the Aries personality would, but it's still really important that you recognize that whatever slowness that you've had to experience and kind of an unsureness of where you were going and is it going to work and how are we going to get it off the ground, now it's saying, oh, there's harmony here. There's now all the work that you put in is starting to show up. So movement forward means change. And so this is a relief for Libras in May and moving into Gemini at the end of May. So let's do the next one, which is Scorpio. It's interesting when the cards reflect similar concepts for signs that are not the same. Okay, here we go. This is for Scorpios. Coyote. When Coyote calls your name. Here we go. Detours. So it's never going to be a straight line. At least it's not right now for the beautiful Scorpio personality. So that's Scorpio, Sun, Ascendant, and Moon. So the essential meanings are the divine detours, the value of not getting what you think you want, discovering greater treasure when you're forced to change course. So Scorpios, you might think you're heading in one direction, but something, goes, I gotta go this way, or you don't get something you thought you wanted so badly, but something better is replaced, right? So you don't know that something better is gonna be replaced yet. So this is to trust that. So I'm gonna read this for Scorpio. Sometimes you find yourself confused about your direction. You might have been so sure you were meant for this situation, this love, this job, or this thing, yet you're forced to walk away. All the signs have been pointing to potential magic and fulfillment, but somehow things are not turning out the way you expected or wanted. When Coyote calls your name, you're being given a great gift. This apparent loss, detour, or change of course has been set in motion to give you what you truly need. The dream weavers know the truth in your heart. They know the perfect reflection of your greatest dreams are already available and woven into the fabric of your life, just waiting for you to discover them. But they're meant to come in a different form than the one you've become attached to. So in this moment, it's important to you to surrender your expectations and trust in divine timing and form. When Coyote calls your name, you will know this way was the best way for you after all. Your life is woven true, and the new threads of your experience sparkle. There really was no loss or disappointment at all. only a new meaningful adventure and a beautiful story to tell. How cool is that? So you're actually going to get something better. I love that. To all my Scorpio friends. Okay, now let's take a look at Sag. All right, when you're neither here nor there. So we have the Sagittarius. You know, Sagittarius is all about that higher truth, right? That, you know, that higher truth and the philosophy and the travel and the movement and that greater understanding beyond ideas, right? Beyond the thinking mind of the Gemini, then it's rising up to that that philosophical higher view that comes from those initial ideas, right? So now you're going, okay, but I'm neither here nor there, so I haven't got it yet. It's basically what it's saying. So this is a month you're not meant to land in any particular aha. The ahas are continuous. Your epiphanies are moving with you, and it's an exploratory month where you're between what was and what will be. But this is the juiciest part, and a lot of us want to get past this really fast. So the period of time between what was and what you're moving toward, they're not quite there yet, being present for every step of the journey. That's the essential meaning. So are you feeling a little lost because your goals and intentions seem so far away? You know you cannot live your old life anymore. So with one foot still in the past and one reaching for the future, you discover you're in an in-between world. This place still has flavors of your past, but it's also brightly colored by the glittering dreams for your future. You're just not there yet. And this is a wonderful place to explore. This is where you get to reconsider your past, choosing to see it as sacred and beautiful and not something to discard or run away from. If you can bless all that has brought you here right now, you'll see your time between worlds will not be long at all. Is there anything at all you need to release in this liminal space? Do you need to cut any cords to old thinking? Are any of your old stories or unfinished business niggling at you? Well, now is the perfect time to consider an inventory to ensure you're not bringing any old baggage with you. So most important, you must see how far you've come. You are an extraordinary being of light, blessed by the universe here on purpose. So trust your dreams and desires are sacred. They matter, and in the perfect form, they will arise to greet you on the other side of the in-between, where you may sometimes feel you're neither here nor there. Bring yourself to this moment and make effective use of it. Bless your life because you have nothing to lose on this adventure. And I always think Sag is the sign of adventure. All right, so let's look at Capricorn. Hope everybody's enjoying this morning. Are they having fun, Mark?
Yes.
He's
Yep, everybody's happy you're giving them their readings.
Excellent, excellent. And you know, if a card pops out at you and it's not your sign, it may be that you're going, oh my God, that's for me today. Just take that. You know, take it as a sign for you to have listened to this. It was important to you to listen to. Okay, so this is for Capricorn, when the storm spirits play. That's, I love the art on this card. So beautiful. You should see them in person too. It's like you can't even tell the detail in the art in person, and we bought the whole art for the deck. It's absolutely extraordinary. I almost started bawling when I saw it for the first time. It was so beautiful. Anyway, here's the essential meaning, and this is for Capricorn. Or again, if you're drawn to it, Capricorn rising, Capricorn moon. Understanding how to navigate divine chaos, clear the air, stir the pot, scattered seeds, and bring in new possibilities. You are being asked to surrender your need to control outer circumstances, which is based on a desire to feel more certain, avoid confrontation, or resist change. This card signifies a time to trust that this chaos, this disorder, this turbulence that has shown up in your life is temporary, but it's really important. You're now able to let go of what is unnecessary or that which you've resisted releasing. Consider how clear the air is after a storm, how dead branches are pruned from trees, and how potent seeds are scattered so new life can sprout in new soil. Even if you found yourself in conflict now, there's a gift in this. It invites you to see things from alternative perspectives and provides you with a lot of valuable information. So now, new important possibilities arise from the chaos at hand. I mean, this is really good for Capricorn. For now, the highest good for you is to remain in the center of the storm. This is actually good for me too. My progressed moon is in Capricorn, so that's interesting. Meditate and be mindful of your reactions, as you don't have all the information needed to make an authentic choice. Watch and wait. There's a divine reordering at the root of this chaos. Listen deeply for the epiphany rising to greet you, and you will know the gifts this experience holds for you. When the storm spirits play, amazing things are stirred up through this divine change for the highest good of all. Remember, you are a weaver of dreams too. Even if you must pivot, even if the threads of your destiny get frayed, the pattern you set will be breathtaking. How cool is that? Awesome. Now we have Aquarius and Pisces left. So, yeah, you can get lots of, if you were to look at your progressed chart too, you can, I think Deborah Silverman has something like that right now going on her website, but you can also look up progressed charts. If you're interested in astrology and you really want to go deep, like I'm an astrology fanatic, even though I'm not an astrologer. Mark always says I know enough about astrology to be dangerous. In a good way. Here we go. Aquarius. Oh, Aquarius also. So Aquarius is also looking at detours. So we've got when coyote calls your name again. So for the Aquarius personality, Aquarius is a fixed sign, and they are looking at, how to make the world a better place. How about that? So there's big humanitarian. There's a lot of also innovation. The idea of AI is very Aquarian. So this kind of new ways of thinking, and you may have come into this month with big ideas about things, but actually they're not going to go the way you think. They're going to go somewhere else, and you have to allow that. So this is a really important month for the Aquarius to let go your need for the certainty that the road that you're on is going to lead you to a specific destination. Like if you think you're going to house number 2 down the road, but you're actually going to end up at house number 22, right? And which is way better, right? So that's how you have to think of things. Like Spirit's got a plan that's not going to be exactly like yours, but if you could just be curious and use curiosity as your superpower this month and just say, okay, well, if not this, what? Right? Then allow that I wonder if, I wonder how, I wonder what, right? So think about it that way, and you'll be in quite amazing shape at the end of the whole shaboom. Again, here we go. For last but not least, we have the peaceful Pisces. The reason I say peaceful Pisces is because the card is all is calm upon these shores. Card number 29. So again, Pisces rising, Pisces moon. This is part of your story this month. Calm and centered sense of self, radical acceptance, peaceful interactions with others, and releasing attachment. There are days when you know you've done all you can and surrendered your attachment to outcomes, trusting that things will turn out the way they will. You don't have anything to prove anymore. When you reach this moment, you experience a kind of satisfaction and accomplishment, fulfillment that may not even have anything concrete. It's just the feeling, a perceived success connected to it. This might be fleeting, but it doesn't matter how long that you stay in it for it to take space inside you. Once you know the feeling, you can always return to it. So the way to these calm inner shores is simple meditation and prayer, coupled with surrendering your wants and your attachments to the will of the divine, being humble and grateful for what is in front of you. Letting go of the need to control or change anything outside of yourself is really the key. And this is not a passive state, but rather one of action, of choice, like radically accepting what you cannot change, figuring that out too. The Serenity Prayer beautifully outlines this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Peace is the state of knowing that all is well. Enjoy it because it is. I love it. All right, my loves. Wasn't that cool? So listen, don't forget podcast. Season 3 is on itwpodcast.com. And everybody else, I will see you. What should I be saying to them, Mark? See you when I see you.
Yeah.
I love doing this, and I really love it when you give comments.
Yes, Mark. Wow, we had a lot of recurring cards. So is there
two
kind
cards.
of like
two recurring cards?
Was it just 2?
Yeah.
I saw the coyote.
There was the coyote. There was
the wind and the sails.
Wind with the sails.
And what was the other one?
Was there another one?
Yeah, there was.
So there could have been 3.
So what would you say to that?
So you approach a similar subject from a different lens, right? So as a Cancer, I'll give you an example. I would approach it with my natural tendency, which is to be mothering, which is to want my home to be safe. I'm looking for, I'm like, I have leadership. I have like this, and I'm also like, I know what, if anybody's a Cancer, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? We're super sensitive, we're empathic, blah, blah, blah. So I would approach the same card very differently than my Aries husband, right? Who would come at it like, boom, he'd be like, let's get off the ground, boom, like, let's go. And I'd be like, wait, like, I'm okay. Yes. Isn't that great? Things are moving forward now. I'm feeling safe, right? So he'd be like, I'm moving forward because I can't stand being stuck, right? There's a big difference in how we approach the theme of the card and the message of the card. So that's the best thing about oracle cards, is that you interpret it through your own lens and your life experience. They are meant to be the tips of icebergs. So that's why I was saying, like, both Taurus and Virgo got the same card about making sure that that they saw the world as spirit as being the primary foundation of that world, not the material world. Now, the Taurus would be like sensual. I want to know that I can touch it. I want to know that I can rely on it. I want reliability. I want the same thing. I want it. I'm nice and grounded, and boy, am I stubborn. Whereas the Virgo would be like, is this sacred? Is this like, is it perfect? I don't know. Should I fix it? Like, so, and would also have like self-doubt more so, with looking through that lens with the same. So everybody's going to come. But again, that's not the only story, because that's like looking at a horoscope in a newspaper, right? You're going to also see those other two cards that are going to further, your story. Like in my case, I would look at Cancer, Libra, and Leo, right? So I have a storyline. Are you looking at me through a phone now, Mark? Hello. Anyhow, I hope that helped you to understand how this works. And again, we tested this for months before we started doing this online. And then things got a little complicated with 9 cards. And I thought, okay, let's see if it's still accurate. And it's actually even more accurate with just the 3 cards. If you, again, I have another suggestion. If you have like the same sign triple, like if you're a triple Cancer, for example, and you're like, oh, I don't want to look at a chart. So pull another card and say, like, what else could I know this month? Like, if you only got the 1 card, then choose to pull another card or another 2 cards to say, like, what else do I need to know about this month? And then you're actually engaging the oracle, not based on the astrology influence, but based on what spirit wants you to know personally, right? So just personally, what else do I need to know about this? I always pull the extra cards no matter what anyway. So, and I've always gotten a really accurate reading for myself, the people I tested it on to, and this is why we offer it to you, because astrology and oracles go together. All right. Take care, everybody. We love you. Mwah! Bye. That's meditation music.